Hello friends, this is Vishnu and today I'm here to talk about four things that really surprised me in the Friends reunion episode. So guys, the show was absolutely great. I really loved it. I really enjoyed watching the show. It really brought tears on my eyes on multiple occasions, but I was surprised at quite a few times during while watching this particular show. So let's discuss a few of those points that surprised me. So four, I've narrowed them down to four that really surprised me. So number four is, guys. I mean, it's a very petty one. You might fault me for this, but please hear me out. None of the cast members remembered Mr. Hickles' name. So Mr. Hickles was kind of an important character on the show. There was an entire episode dedicated to his death, and wherein Chandler is kind of worried that he's going to be Mr. Hickles and he's going to die alone. So it was kind of insulting to the character and the actor that no one was able to recall his name during the quiz, right? When David Schwimmer asked a question about, identify this voice, and they were saying Mr. something, 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 and no one was able to guess Mr. Heckles. And I kind of admire the actor who was playing Mr. Heckles because he was just there for 5 or 10 seconds on screen, and he did take the pains to come for the episode. So yeah, that is one thing that I was surprised that they did not remember Mr. Heckles' name. So number three is something that I was surprised again, wherein they revealed that Monika and Chandler were not supposed to be together in the original storyline. So just because they noticed that the reaction of the audience was amazing to the initial hookup that Monika and Chandler had in London, so that is why they kind of explored that story in the subsequent seasons. So I actually thought originally Monica and Chandler made perfect sense, and probably the writer had carefully crafted this entire story. But then I came to know that it was not crafted beforehand, but they kind of changed the story as they went along, depending taking into account how the audience reacted to this particular relationship. So again, that was pretty surprising to me. At number two was it's kind of not a funny per se, but it's kind of heartbreaking to see Matthew Perry so subdued. I mean, he used to be the life of Friends. He was always the witty one. He was always passing comments. He had this, he had the right thing to say at every occasion. And from what we have seen in the bloopers, in the interviews, Chandler and Matthew Perry were very similar to one another. Matthew Perry used to be the life of every conversation, not just Chandler, even outside of Friends. So, and if you might have noticed that Matthew Perry had very less of screen time. There are not a lot of things that Matthew Perry said, and whatever he said, a couple of things were pretty heartbreaking. Wherein he mentioned that he was so scared that people were not going to laugh at his joke, and if the audience did not laugh at his joke, he actually started having convulsions, and he was started sweating, and probably he went into panic, and he was so desperate for laughter. And that's when you realize that how much of a pressure was Matthew Perry in while he was filming Friends. And we all know, we all read about his struggles with addiction. So seeing Matthew Perry so, kind of subdued, kind of, silent and, kind of broken. I mean, he is supposed to be the youngest of all the actors, but he looked the oldest. And it was really heartbreaking to see him that way. So I was surprised, and I was, kind of sad watching him. So in the way he was, that's about it. So yeah, that's something that surprised me. And number one, I think that was the biggest surprise of all. They have never mentioned it before that David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston were crushing on one another during the first couple of seasons. That's such a big revelation that kind of redefines how we are going to view their relationship now. So when I watch Friends again, and when I see their first kiss scene, and the emotions, the kind of passion that they brought into their acting. And now you know that these two people were, for whatever reasons, not able to be together, and these actors were living vicariously to, Ross and Rachel, and the intensity, the passion, the flirting probably came from their real life motivations. The footage that they showed wherein Ross and Rachel were, kind of flirting with David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston were flirting with one another. And the cast also mentioned that it was very obvious that they had a crush on one another. So again, now when you watch Friends again, it's going to be a very different point of view wherein you view these two actors who are executing Ross and Rachel. So again, that was a pleasant surprise. It's again, whenever you see something on the show and you see that it's been replicated in real life, it's always a pleasant feeling. Seeing that these characters were great friends on the show, and now knowing that they are great friends outside of the show, it's a pleasant feeling. That these friends are actually friends, and seeing that Jennifer Aniston and Ross and David Schwimmer are actually, into one another, and Ross and Rachel are into one another. It's a pleasant feeling, guys. So yeah, these are the four things that surprised me while watching the reunion episode. That's about it. If you want to watch my review of the episode, you can have the link in the description below. And if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be talking about a lot more in the future. Thank you so much.